we're back on the Not On My Watch show. I'm Dr. Baruch, and we are blessed with yet another. You know, Ty Gray L was so thorough and so inspiring with the words that he shared. Well, it gets better. Believe it or not, it gets better. One, we're thankful that Ty would even consider becoming a part of our team, becoming a part of the work that we do here. And that's not small. That's big. That's major. So we're excited about Ty coming on board with us and sharing with us the great width and breadth of knowledge and capability that he has. But we have in our studio now Sister Soleil. And we want to, hold on one second, get a pen. Okay, great. So we want Sister Soleil, who is in our studio, along with brother who is
Shifu Sean over here.
Shifu Sean. That's what's up. That's what's up. We want to welcome you all to our studio today. And this is a powerful day, and it's going to get better. I already know. So we're going to start the conversation off with who is Soleil? Because there's like 2 or 3 people out there that don't know you. But the rest of them, they know who you are.
I'm sure it's more than that, but thank
who is
you.
Soleil?
Thank you. Wow. Is are you asking me that question?
I'm asking. Who is Soleil? Wow. Where is Soleil from? You know?
Okay, let's start where I'm from. I'm originally from Kansas City.
Wow.
So yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, and I've been in the D.C. area for about 16 years now. Mm-hmm. About 16 years. I lived in Atlanta for a short while, and then I've been here for the last 16 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay, and tell us what you've been doing. So you were in Atlanta, and then you were dancing, and you were singing, and you
rapping,
were acting, and rapping, and you were part of that scene. Tell us what that was about.
Yeah, so I grew up in music. My mother was a gospel singer, and I grew up. Music was just an important part of my life, and I always wanted to be an entertainer. So I grew up performing, acting, dancing, singing, and rapping. And, surprisingly, well, to a lot of people's surprise, I was pretty good at rapping. So
that's what's up.
I remember recording, memorizing, and then recording myself rapping Rapper's Delight when I was probably 7, maybe. And my brothers were like, wow, you you actually can do that.
Wow.
And so, rap, hip hop just became a part of my life. And I ended up in a group with my best friend when I was about 13 until we were about at least 16, 17. We got offered a record deal. We didn't sign it. We both ended up, going to school, going to college, studying different things. And then I circled back around to music and signed a record deal in '99 and put an album out on DreamWorks Records. So,
what album was that?
It was called Skin Deep.
Okay.
And before that, though, I ended up getting put on a song called Who Dat that ended up being the longest at the time. I mean, it's been topped now, but at the time it was it stayed at #1 for the longest on Billboard for a hip hop single. Okay. So that was with JT Money. It went platinum, and that allowed me to get a publishing deal because I wrote on it before I even had a record deal, and then I got signed to a deal right after that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Can we play that on the air? Is that okay?
You have the clean version? That was a long time ago. I don't talk like that no more.
Well, tell us what made you, what caused that transition? How did you move from that to now where you are? What's up?
I think after the first record came out, I started feeling uncomfortable with some of the messages, even though for the most part they were positive messages, though they were sprinkled and littered with vulgarity. But, I'm looking at you, and I'm also Facebook Live, so say hey.
What's up, Facebook Live?
It's Dr. Baruch there. So I'm trying to get my phone set up so we can see. Let's put it back there. Okay, is there something we can put behind that? Yep. I'm just trying to get it live. Yeah. Will it stay in there? Okay, hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to get it over here too so we can record.
There we go.
Yay, that's awesome. Let's see when I sit up. Okay, perfect. Yay. Okay, what were we talking about?
How did you transition from the hip hop, rap,
mm-hmm.
scene. And what was the scene like back then? And before you go into the transition,
mm-hmm.
what was the hip hop and rap scene like back then? And how does that compare to what we got today?
Oh, man. It varied because when I was coming up, it was a very transitional time. I grew up in a time where hip hop was fun and it was positive and it was fight the power and, it was very uplifting to the black community. And then, gangster rap came on the scene and it was very popular and I loved it at the time. And, I was listening to NWA and Eazy-E and being in the Midwest, I was exposed to both, both styles. It was very transitional throughout the time. When I got my record deal, so I was influenced by both. I was influenced by the very inspirational, positive, uplifting hip hop that I grew up listening to, as well as the the more hardcore stuff that came out. And so when my record came out, it was kind of a mixture of both of those things.
Okay.
And just some life experiences. Some of it was totally not life experience, just us getting in the studio, being creative, like, let's just write this, but it had nothing to do with my life. And so, once I put that record out, I started, I became a little bit uncomfortable after a while with some of the messages and images and things like that after being in the music industry for a while that I was putting out there. And so I, decided to embark on this spiritual journey.
Is that before you had children, after you had children?
It was not. I actually had two older daughters before my record came out.
Oh, okay.
And so I had two girls, and then my two younger daughters I had after my record came out.
Okay. How did that influence your music? Do you think that kind of held you back a bit in a good way?
Absolutely.
Good. That's a good
Absolutely. You start to, I was a young mother with my two older daughters, and so there's a huge difference being a 19-year-old mother, a 21-year-old mother, and then being almost 30.
Right.
At my two younger daughters, I was 28 and 29 when I had them, and they're still, you're still young at that time, so the way you view things starts to change though, and so in raising all these girls and looking like what kind of example do I want to be for them, what kind of messages do I want to put out, and it started to change in me. So they absolutely had a huge impact on my decision to pull back from the music industry and just kind of reevaluate everything I was doing.
Great. And as you transitioned out of that, because you recognized that, okay, this wasn't where I wanted to be going and necessarily what I want to produce, where did you go? Where did that take you?
Honestly, I decided I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom for a while. I wanted to be home. I had a nanny, but I didn't want her raising my children, so she kind of transitioned into a housekeeping role and helped me just, it takes a village. My family all lived in the Midwest. I was here with no family, and so she took on the role of helping me around the house, but I was very hands-on. I didn't leave them really with her much. She kind of just helped around the house, and I became a stay-at-home mother. I taught them, cooked and cleaned, and did everything. I just wanted to be normal and have a normal life and have a normal life for them. I ended up starting a couple businesses though when they got a little bit older. I think when my youngest was 3 and she's 13 now. I had been an interior designer, and so I had an interior design business. I started an independent living program in Missouri that houses adults with physical and mental disabilities. That company is actually still open. We opened that in 2007. And but I got very involved in church at the time, and just getting a spiritual grounding.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you went back home.
I went back home.
That's what's up. So many of us don't go back home.
Yeah, I went back home.
We talk about home.
Right.
We talk about how we glad we got out, but we don't go back and give home.
Right.
You got this attractive brother sitting next to you, and we're gonna hear about his record deal too.
Yeah. Look, he told me he used to rap, but he wanted a record deal.
We might get y'all to do a duet here in a minute.
Oh no.
Brother Shifu Sean Sexton. How are you, brother?
I'm well, Dr. Baruch. How are you?
Very well, and welcome aboard to the Not On My Watch show.
Thank you, sir.
And our objective and agenda is to expose the world to sometimes the seldom and the under promoted and seldom heard voices that are out there, you know, and you've come in and you're doing some work with Soleil now, and I'd like to hear about, you know, first about you. Who are you, where are you from, and, you know, what brought you to the point of getting involved in martial arts, and then I want to hear about what you all got going on now.
Okay, well, I'm originally from this area. I was born in the District of Columbia.
What?
Yes, sir.
Not many of us left.
Southeast.
What part? Southeast?
Alabama Avenue.
Wait a minute.
Yes, sir. And Beers Elementary.
Wait a minute. I went to DuPont.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All
we
right.
crossed each other on the way to school.
That's right. My family had moved out to Southern Maryland probably when I was around 12 years old. So I've always been hovering around D.C., PG County, Charles County, in this area. Martial arts is something that I always had an interest in, particularly as a youngster. My dad never really thought it was a good fit for me, and he was probably right at the time. He thought that I was going to get in a lot of trouble with it. So I dabbled in it for some time as an adolescent, and when I finally decided to really get into it and commit to it, that's when I got involved with Grandmaster Dennis Brown.
Yes, sir.
And I trained under him for many years, and I was the chief instructor for his school. We had a location in Largo. Then we moved to Lanham, and that's what I was doing for some time. I loved it so much working with the youngsters that I actually left my full-time job with Verizon, and to teach martial arts full-time.
Great.
So that's how I got into that, and Master Brown decided that he wanted to just focus on his Silver Spring location, and that's when Soleil and I decided to hook up and open up this school in Lanham to continue to cater to this community that we love so much. So that's where we are today.
Great. And you what level of accomplishment within the martial arts?
I'm a 4th degree black belt, and also 3rd degree in Tai Chi.
Okay. And what little I know about the arts, Tai Chi is it? What's the difference? Tell me that.
Tai Chi is what they consider to be an internal art, where the difference between internal and external is external, you would build the strength from the outside inward. Internal, you would be the opposite. You develop your internal strength and energy from the inside and from inside out. So a lot more emphasis on the breath control, the Qigong exercises. The movements are softer and more fluid. Traditionally, it's done very slow. And a lot of times the martial application of Tai Chi gets underrepresented, I think. So we like to teach that part of it also. And
so that is a form of self-defense as well.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. And so you and Soleil were in Brother Dennis's class, Brother Dennis Brown's class.
Actually, she came to the Largo or the Lanham school, and Master Brown owned the school, but I was the chief instructor, so she was actually in my class. So.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Now, tell us, Soleil, what made you want to get into martial arts?
I had been actually practicing and studying martial arts since I was a kid. I started out with karate when I was a kid, and then taekwondo in my 20s. And I loved not just the physical aspects of it and I feel like I can, you feel like you're tough when you get do martial arts. And, I was always a little tomboy growing up, and it called to me, but I also loved the discipline, the internal, like he says. It really brings about, it's almost a spiritual practice, for the most part, just like yoga, which I teach, which is absolutely a spiritual practice. But I picked up Kung Fu in my 30s, and I loved it. It's my favorite martial art that I've practiced. So it's the one that I've been practicing for the shortest amount of time, but it's become my favorite. So I came into the school, I loved it, took to it, and I got my black belt in Kung Fu.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And you're doing other things, like you said, yoga.
Yeah, certified Jiva Mukti yoga teacher as well.
Okay, that's great. And all that's going on over in Lanham.
In Lanham, yes, at Dragon Academy of Martial Arts in Lanham, Maryland.
And now you're a female, obviously, and there's this campaign to empower females to be able to protect themselves and to defend themselves against someone. How has that fit into the work that you're doing? Was that the motivator? Of course, you say you've been doing it for a while. Were you being bullied in school or no? You were the tomboy, right? You were doing the bullying.
I know I wasn't a bully. I wasn't a bully. I was a little tomboy when I was younger, but I wasn't a bully. I was everybody's friend. I was a peacemaker in school, and it's funny. It's one of the things we teach. I always say we're raising peaceful warriors over there at the school because we're not teaching them to bully. Of course, not to take their martial art and use it in a negative form, but to use it as a form of self-discipline, self-control, and to be able to protect others, to protect yourself if you have to. And I love the quote that I use often, though: it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. So to be prepared for something that happens, but hopefully to never have to use it, and so to go about your life peacefully and not have to, but be prepared for the worst. And before, as far as women in self-defense, before I even had my black belt, I started hosting events to help women learn how to defend themselves. And Shifu Shan would teach those classes, and we would donate the proceeds to. We've donated money to Courtney's House, which helps women in abuse situations to get out of them. And so it's something that's close to my heart that I do want to continue to do. And we do have self-defense classes at the school now as well. Yeah.
And what level of accomplishment have you achieved within the martial arts space?
I'm just a lowly old black belt.
I know what that means. No, nobody bothers me.
Yeah, I have my black belt too. I'm definitely not as experienced as Shifu Shan. He's practiced longer and more consistently than me, and attained a higher level than I have, and so I always glean from him and learn, and give respect to my teachers and those who I've learned from. But I'm pretty proud about what I've accomplished so far. It's not the end of the line.
Sure.
I want to do a movie. I want to do a fighting movie.
Oh wow! Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the reality of the world that me as a black man I live in every day. I have to wake up and hope that I get back home at night.
Yeah.
And the art that you are teaching us, like you said, it's not always necessarily the thing that you want to go out and hurt somebody with, but sometimes to avoid.
Right.
And I remember learning that from, if it wasn't Dennis Brown, it was one of the people that he hung around. He said, and it wasn't Dennis Brown. I remember now, the brother. He actually was teaching me classes in my living room, and he was saying, the real success is when you can avoid a situation.
Yeah.
He said avoid it.
Yeah.
But Brother Shifu Shan, tell us, I thought you learned martial arts so you can defend yourself and take somebody out if you need to. What's up with avoidance?
Well, that's interesting, Dr. Baruch, that you touched on that point. And as I stated earlier, that's probably why my dad wouldn't let me do it when I was younger, because I was all about learning how to fight. And
he's from Southeast, brother.
And but as I got older, and I realized as I started studying martial arts, because that fire in me was always there.
Sure.
But as I started to study martial arts, when I first began, I thought, okay, now I can get out there and I can start. But the more I learned, the more it calmed my spirit.
Yeah.
And what I teach in the self-defense workshops and in the classes, and especially to the kids, is that people are going to do what they do. You can't control the actions of others, but you can control the way you react to actions of others. Which means a lot of times, especially in our communities, we have this idea of this machismo that we have to uphold, this thing about not being disrespected, and a lot of times something that's a very small thing can escalate into something that could potentially be tragic.
Right.
And if you can just have the control over yourself to walk away from certain things and not worry about if someone called you something disrespectful, or if I don't feel threatened or a need to protect myself physically or my loved ones, I'll walk away from everything. you know.
And he don't have to.
And that's a lesson that I know I could have learned from. And I was in a hospital and patching up my wounds as a result of, you know, mistakes that I made, because I just felt like I couldn't walk away from a situation, and I needed to defend myself against all 15 or however many of them guys it was. And it was, you know, if I had that lesson, if I had that experience, you know, and I think about other times when the guy wanted to steal my bike and I decided to risk my life to try to prevent him from taking the bike. Now, I did that, but I couldn't ride it anymore because the wheels were all bent up. But, you know, it's there's a lot in that. And I think it goes back to self-worth. And I speak about that a lot in that I'm talking about health and wellness in the restaurant space and making better decisions on behalf of yourself. And I'm sure that plays a part in that when you recognize the value of self, when you recognize how important you are to your children, to your parents, you know, that they gave birth to you and spent all these years raising you to this point. Now you have an obligation to them, and you can't waste it on a 50-cent fight with some guy that, you know, they might take you out of here. Absolutely. You know, or an encounter with the police department that, you know, hey, you know, and I have family in the police department, so I'm careful not to disparage across the board, but I see what I see, you know,
right,
and the camera doesn't lie,
right.
You know, if I can avoid, I'm going to avoid. I'm
right.
Yes, sir, no, sir, okay, sir, here it is, sir. And then after I wind up the window, I say what I want to say to him. But I'm
Absolutely.
good. You know, at least I don't have to. I ain't got to. You know, not go home that night.
Right.
And you know, so what would as you're speaking to audiences of people, I'm sure as you all share what you do, you know, how do you redirect the attention of our youth away from, you know, this you know, defend myself? And defending ourselves today is different than, Sean, when you and I were younger. It was with our hands, you know, maybe a whatever, you know, it graduated bats and other stuff, but it was our hands for the most part. And now it's gone to some other. So now somebody who has no skills at all in any way capable of doing anything to you can pull a trigger, and now you're gone and you had all of this capability. What do you say to the people? What do you say to the children? What do you say to the men that are being, being literally wiped off of the planet? What message do you have to them as an artist and an expert discipline, you know, in the art that you're in? What message do you have for them?
You know, I believe that it's all about how secure you are with yourself. You know, a lot of guys, they can't walk away from things because they're insecure about their image in the eyes of other people. And that's something that a lot of us struggle with growing up, and that as we mature, we get more comfortable with the idea of, I don't care what somebody else have to say about me. I got a mortgage to pay, I got a job, I got a wife and kids I got to go home to. So, you know, you learn to not care so much about what other people say. But, you know, I think it's just like you train your martial arts techniques through repetition. You have to train your self-confidence and your image of yourself through repetition, you know, and I teach that to the kids. You know, every time we have a class, we go through the lessons of the 4 stages of self-defense to teach them when is it okay to actually defend yourself physically, you know, not because somebody said something about your mama, not because somebody said something about your face or hurt your feelings in some way. So with the youngsters, we just have to keep drilling that, just like we drill the basic techniques in martial arts, you know, to teach them, go out our way to teach them to be secure in themselves, to feel better about themselves, to have more confidence with themselves. Strength is, the quiet man is the strong man, you know, and through competition and stuff, and I've heard that lesson, and I've seen it manifested in different ways. We used to go to tournaments and competitions, and there's always guys in there jumping around and making a lot of noise. Those guys were never the ones that you had to worry about. It was that brother over in the corner, quietly stretching, listening to his music. You didn't even know he was there until it was time to fight. And that was the guy that always beat everybody, not the guy strutting around, peacocking, as we used to call it.
Right.
You know? So that confidence, when you're confident in yourself, you don't feel the need to prove it to everybody, you know? Right. So, and I think that's one thing that we try to teach to the students when they come to the school, is you're going to be empowered with all this self-defense, and as you learn the self-defense, you become more confident, and it makes it easier. So the kids would ask me, have I ever had to use my martial arts? And I say, you know, I've been fortunate enough that I didn't have to really hurt anybody, so I haven't used my martial arts. And I thought about it, I said, that's not true. I said, I use martial arts every time somebody bumps into me and says something to me. Every time somebody cuts me off in traffic and I don't go into a fit of road rage. Every time somebody says something hurtful to me or to my family, and I'm able to walk away from it and avoid, like you said, avoid a confrontation.
That's it.
Right.
Because the truth is, to master somebody else is strength, but to master oneself makes you mighty.
That's what's up. And I can remember also, I think it's the art of Aikido, the martial art, Aikido, where you use someone's strength against them. Is that the idea?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any experience with Aikido?
A little bit, not a lot.
Okay.
I'd like to think of Aikido and Tai Chi as kind of like cousins.
Yeah.
Because they have some of the same concepts about using the person's energy and strength against them.
Yeah. And it was amazing what I saw the brother do. And I'll get his name, and I'm sure you all will know him. He was definitely one of those that was very well known. He's actually traveled overseas now, and hasn't been back here for a while. But we're talking to Sister Soleil and Brother Shifu Sean. It's kind of hard for me to say all that. But and they're talking about work that they're doing here in Lanham. Is Lanham Greenbelt?
Yeah. Lanham.
Okay. And tell us where your facility is and how we would find you and get in contact with you.
So their location is 8807A Annapolis Road, and it's in Lanham. We're in the Lanham Crossing Shopping Center, same shopping center where Retro Fitness and Zips Dry Cleaners is. Navigation tends to take you across the street.
I go by you. I go by.
Yeah, we're right in there. We just moved in a couple months ago, so.
Okay.
Yeah, right in there in the community. We are also offering. We just started. It'll start this month. Seva Sundays. And Seva in Sanskrit means selfless service. So one Sunday, the second Sunday a month, we'll be offering free classes to the community, and they'll vary. One Sunday it'll be Tai Chi. One Sunday it may be yoga. One it may be self-defense or just some Kung Fu basics. It may be a workout class. So we're offering those and starting. Did we start this Sunday? I think this one is this Sunday. So the first one's this Sunday. Don't need to sign up. Just come in. Did we find that time? What time is that class now? Is it 9 or 10 a.m.?
We said 10.
It's 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. this Sunday, and it's an intro to Tai Chi.
Okay.
So and it's free to the community. Anybody that wants to come out, they can. Our website is thedragonacademy.org. And then on Facebook, where we post a lot of information, is Dragon Academy of Martial Arts on Facebook. But yeah, we're starting that too. So trying to, even though we're a for-profit business, making sure that we always have a nonprofit component that we give back to the community in every way, any way that we can, as much as we can. Yeah.
We got to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I want to jump in now, as well as the martial arts side of this and defending yourself. What is diet and nutrition? How does it play a role in all of that?
Oh, it's everything, as you know.
Yep.
So I actually, a brother by the name of Darrell Davis gave me a DVD and a book about maybe 7 or a little over 7 years ago, and the DVD was called Eating, and the book was called The Rave Diet and Lifestyle. Yeah. And I had dabbled in vegetarianism in my 20s. I didn't know why I felt drawn to it. I didn't have any background in it, just felt drawn to it, and one day decided with my two older kids, now they were the only two that I had, we were going to be vegetarian, and they were little. And I didn't know why. I didn't have any information about nutrition. I grew up in the Midwest where everybody ate ribs, and it was barbecue town, and we ate a very unhealthy diet, very unhealthy lifestyle. And so it was foreign to me, but so of course I went back to my old ways of eating. And then when Brother Davis gave me that book and DVD, it changed my life. It had changed the whole course of my life. And I watched it, and I immediately said, oh, I'm done. I'm done with animal products, period. Just went cold turkey. And I remember my poor kids, I had all 4 of them then at the time, 4 daughters, and we ate. I didn't know anything about plant-based nutrition. We ate brown rice, broccoli, and beans for like 2 months straight.
Every day.
And I was like, they were so sick of it, like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like the rest of our lives. But it set me on a path. I started learning about nutrition. I started becoming a vegan activist. I studied plant-based nutrition. I studied with T. Colin Campbell, who authored the China study birthed out of the China Project. I started telling everybody that would listen about plant-based nutrition. My kids, they're 1 year they missed 30 days collectively of school being sick. And, once we went vegan, I mean, it's like never do they get sick. Very rare. If they have something coming on, they get some herbs. I'm studying herbalism. And so, it's just an amazing way to live. Sure. It's the only way to live, sure. And which is how I met you. And I just actually taught a workshop on how to transition to a plant-based diet. I'm writing a book now on how to easily transition, and also a book called Nourishing the Goddess. And that book is about how to nourish ourselves as women. And it is based on through a plant-based diet, but not solely on that, nourishing ourselves as women in general as the archetypal goddesses that we are. And so, but yeah, it's everything, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And, you can't consume death and suffering and illness and disease and then think you're going to have a positive output. It affects, every aspect of our lives when we're consuming unhealthy foods and animal foods. So
wow, we need to capture that and make that an everlasting life commercial there.
Oh my God, I'm over here all the time.
I would say, as you have transitioned from the 70s and 80s, and I remember Rapper's Delight. I actually grew up in a religious school, and we didn't wear jewelry, and we didn't listen to music, and we didn't do so many things. And finally, at some point, I broke out of it, and Rapper's Delight was that was my maiden voyage to listen to the music. So I can sing the whole thing because that was the only thing I listened to.
Right.
As you've transitioned, has your fan base, come along with you? How's that worked? And have you brought them along with you, or have you kind of like said, okay, I'm done with that world, I'm now opening up a new world?
It's a mixture of both, because, I left the entertainment industry and was out of it for so long. I really just started within the last few years going back out into entertainment, recording a couple songs. I did a song with a Bhangra artist in India. Well, he's based out of the UK, but he's Indian. We did a song together. Some indie, a couple indie projects. Just did a film that's coming out in September. So I'm just starting to, segue back into entertainment. But, nothing happens, it's always a reason for everything and every course we take and every path. And so that detour was because I needed to come back into the industry to be that, to help be a beacon of light, to help bring, I would never abandon that initial fan base because they need it more than anybody. Sure. Our communities are dying at extremely high rates of heart disease and diabetes and cancer, what common Western cancers, all these things that are diseases of lifestyle. And so I would be remiss to just abandon that community and just go, because there's a huge community of people that are vegan, that are, it's starting to become a trendy thing now, and that, they're vegan and they don't why just, I'm jumping on this bandwagon, which is still a great thing. It's great for the environment, it's great for your health, but the communities that need it the most are communities that are food deserts, or that know nothing about nutrition and what they're putting into their bodies, are in most need of. So I give my message to whoever will listen. I don't seek out a particular audience. I still speak to the fan base I had before, but I don't water down who I am now. I don't try to cater to them and say, to try to keep their attention. I make it very clear, anything I do now, I'm not that same artist. That's not who I am anymore. I can still flow like she did. But that content is going to be different. So, I'm trying to bring life. I'm trying to give life to the community, to, the women. I tend to focus a lot on women's wellness, womb wellness, through studying with Queen Afua and her Sacred Woman book. And, just really trying to, because it's needed. It's needed. It's so needed in the community. So I talk to whoever will listen.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And in the business world, how successful are you with the projects that you have going on? Is the Dragon
Academy,
Dragon
martial arts.
Academy.
Yeah, we just opened. So,
You
we're
mean prior to that, you didn't have another school?
I didn't have another
Oh,
school.
wow.
Shifu Sean was running Grandmaster Brown, who you give all, honor and thanks to him. I always like to honor our teachers.
Yeah.
Because if not for him, we wouldn't be where we are and have the school that we have. But we, we just opened in May. So he was the lead instructor for, 15 years for Grandmaster Brown for one of his locations. And so, but we just opened our own with Grandmaster Brown's blessing just a few months ago. So, we anticipate that it will be highly successful because of what we're bringing to the community, and coming from a place of really wanting to give something to the community, not just take, not just I have other businesses that I make money on. I have a successful independent living program in Missouri that, like I said, that houses adults with mental and physical disabilities. Been open since 2007. I have real estate that I have out of state. So I have other businesses, other business ventures. But this one is really close to my heart with Dragon Academy because it's the one that I really get to bring wellness to the community, really teach our people how not to die early, how not to die too young. They don't have to. I lost my mother 3 years ago to a massive heart attack, completely avoidable. And it's disease of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I give that message, and I give that message through the school. So I use the school, I use martial arts, I use yoga, I use all those things as a way to bring the message of overall health and wellness through healthy eating. I use that as a platform to get that wellness message out to the community.
Do you all provide food for your students?
We do not. We are not allowed to just provide food because then we kind of become a daycare. So that's a whole other. But we do talk to them about food. There are. We're starting our after-school program. Starts August 23rd, and so we'll start taking applications for that next week. And we're only taking 15 students, and they have to bring their own snacks. But we will have, just like the Montessori school my children used to attend, their guidelines as to what you can bring. So we'll have some guidelines because we do want to nourish and foster that. When we do have events, though, we only provide vegan food. So if we're having an event, it's going to be some healthy vegan food that's served. We won't be serving any animal products.
Great. What else you got coming up in the not too distant future? Any new projects? How about you, Brother Sean?
No, right now, Dr. Baruch, my focus is on the school and getting the school going. So all my projects and energies are going to be into the school. We do have a women's self-defense workshop that starts this weekend.
Yeah, this Saturday.
And it's a series, and we're doing a workshop for women's self-defense and awareness every Saturday this month. And otherwise, just getting this
teaching these young men.
That's right.
There we go. Do you have any free programs? I know you talked about a Sunday. Is that your community day where you give back, the primary day?
Yeah,
we'd love to, maybe come in and broadcast that, bring it over our wire so that we can broadcast it to, a broader community.
Absolutely, we
awesome.
love that. So
Yeah,
definitely.
that would be great. And then also, maybe coming here because, even though Lanham is but 10 minutes from here, right? To some people, it's a world away. Well, I don't go anywhere, but right here and back, and maybe coming here and doing a demonstration to market, what it is that you all do to a population that could benefit from it. For
Absolutely.
Sure. And your movie that you have coming out so late, what's the name of it again?
The movie is called Secrets, and it's based on a book called Secrets of a Housewife that was out. So that is an independent film. It was featured at the Black Film Festival in Miami. It was one of the only films that sold out down there. So, and I have a small supporting role in it. I kind of stumbled upon it and got pulled into the movie, and it was an amazing experience. So, look for that coming out in September. And I'll be speaking in Atlanta at their Natural Health and Hair Expo in August. So that's coming up, as well as some more, possible acting things that are in the works. So,
how about singing?
Yeah. I don't know if I'll, it just depends.
Yeah.
It just depends. The industry is so different now. It's just such a different industry. I love that creative outlet. It's a gift that I was blessed with, and I would like to use it again. But I don't feel, it's kind of good now. I'm not feeling the need to conform, just, doing who you are and spreading that. I'm actually going to start working with a company, with a movement called Hip Hop is Green, the 10th Elements of Hip Hop. And Stickman from Dead Prez is in that. And a couple other people that are really trying to help the community become more conscious of what they eat, how they eat, in this plant-based lifestyle. So I'll probably be recording some things with them.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And just reflecting back on what we've shared today, the focus is about getting us whole and restoring us as individuals, but we're also talking about restoring our community.
Absolutely.
And a big element in our community that has deteriorated is the family. And are you all doing any work with the restoration of the family, the restoration of, and you talk about self-defense, but just the moral character of our young men? Brother Sean, is there anything that you all incorporate into your classes, or is there anything that you're offering over there in that space?
Well, we do have classes and things that we offer from time to time where they're like family classes. We'll do from time to time what we call like a mommy and me, or family day, where the whole family can come and take a class together. And we encourage the families to be involved. There's so many times that in that different activities where the kids get dropped off and the mom or the dad will come pick them up an hour later, and it's no secret or no surprise that the children who have their parents involved in the activity tend to do much better than the ones who have parents that aren't involved.
Right. So
we're always trying to put the emphasis and the focus on the strength of family involvement in activities. We don't like the parents to just drop the kids. We understand sometimes you do, but we don't like it to be a habit to where we know the kids, but we don't know who mom or dad is.
Right.
So I like, our school is very family oriented, and we like to think of ourselves as an extension of the family, and have the family involved in all our activities.
I like how Grandmaster Brown, he calls all the parents coaches.
Right.
And so, because they're very much a part of the success of the students there, so it does bring that family and community element to the training, because without that support, they don't tend to do as well. So, and it's I think it's just a testament to his character and what an amazing teacher he is, because, Sean is very humble. But, when you have the graduations, black belt graduations and things like that, almost every student that goes up refers to him as like a father to him. And, so many of them don't have a father in their life. So he takes the way that our school fosters family as well, is he kind of takes on that role. We joke about it a lot. I'm like, you got a lot of kids. He doesn't have any biological kids, but he has a whole tribe of children that he's actually helped raise. And they do praise and love him because he does genuinely care for them. So and trying to step in, especially where there's some fathers that are not present.
And I can imagine that they're going to remember you, for the rest of their lives. And the youngsters, I used to take kids out of D.C., and we used to go to the 4-H club up here off of Central Avenue, and we would take them there, and they many times run into me now, and they're grown adults with kids the same age as they were when I took them up there, and they say, man, I'll never forget what you told me or what you did to me and how mad I was and how you showed me, and so yeah, you're definitely making a big difference. And if you would just share with our audience the way that they get in contact with you, your address, the name and all that kind of stuff on Facebook, whoever wants to.
You want me
take
to share that,
on.
or you want to do it? Okay. So again, the name of the school is Dragon Academy of Martial Arts. We are at 8807A, Unit A, Annapolis Road in Lanham, Maryland. We're in the Lanham Crossing Shopping Center with Flynn O'Hara Uniform Shop. And there's a Zips dry cleaner, a lot of different stores up there. Navigation tends to take you across the street, so look for McDonald's and Burger King, but don't go in there.
No.
Don't go eat the food, though, but you can pull into that parking lot, and we're right in between. There's a wig shop and the uniform shop. We're right in there. Our sign is still being made to go up, so but we're right in between there. And you can also find us and specials. We have tons of web specials for people to be able to try it out before they, commit to, getting a black belt. They can go to thedragonacademy.org and sign up for some trials or just get some more information. And then on Facebook, where we post a lot of information, we are Dragon Academy of Martial Arts on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also, something we should look at and doing some cross-pollination.
Absolutely,
so maybe
would love to.
Yours can be mine and mine can be yours.
Absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely.
We want to thank Sister Soleil and Brother Sean for coming on and sharing with us what they have about their business and the work that they're doing in the entertainment industry and the martial arts industry and the just building up a generation of youth that have another level of appreciation for life and the quality of life. I want to thank you all both for coming on board with us.
Thank you so much.
This is the Not On My Watch show. I am Dr. Baruch, and we are at the end of another really, really great program. I expect all of you out there to check this out and share it with your friends and family and loved ones. Like us on Facebook and all the other social media platforms. And, for those of you who would be so inclined, you want to get on this side of the camera, give us a call. We're at 240-455-5934, where we would love to entertain the idea of bringing you over here so that you can share with us what you know and what you do. Until then, you all have a wonderful week. Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Not On My Watch, the Elife Media Network. We'll be back next Wednesday at 11 o'clock with more great programming. Thank you very much.